Hello, day traders. How's it going today? Welcome, welcome. Today is the 11th day of the trading trail so far. And unfortunately, it's also the first day, red day of the week. Now, today was Friday, normally the slowest day of the market. And quite honestly, I'm kind of sour about some of the action that we saw today. Now, there were absolutely opportunities to walk away green, even in these slower market conditions. Now I remember sitting down to trade at around 6:30 in the morning, like normal, and as I'm sitting down, I see maybe two tickers setting up within our conditions of having a low float and increasing volume. Only two tickers out of, there's normally 15 something tickers on our top gainers list. So right there, that is my key takeaway of today's going to be a slower day. I got to batten down the hatches. Now, today was a true roller coaster for my P&L. The first trade of the day, I made, I think I was up $100. And then I almost immediately give it back away on the next one. And then it's just a roller coaster of my P&L of up 100, down 200. Up 100, up 200 now. Now I'm down another 100. And it's just a complete roller coaster. Now, definitely some opportunities for me to learn today. Now, today was a red day. So, what I normally look to do on a red day is I go through my own checklist of rules, which is something like this. This is the format that I have for my rules. Now, in these rules, I've kind of identified some of my own personal issues when it comes to trading. Now, today I ended up breaking two rules, and I'll point them out to you. Don't trade in the middle of the road. That is the biggest one. And then the next one was rushing and dragging. Um, Today, I was most certainly rushing a lot of my entries, especially in a market where everything was taking so long to develop. And it was very difficult to trade today. And I was still rushing my entries. I should know better. I should definitely know better. Now, let's go ahead and get into this new format that I think I'm going to carry forward into the rest of the trading trail. So, as we can see here, today's trades, I guess that's not exactly accurate. I traded two different tickers today. I had more than two trades. Now, across those two tickers, I'm red on both of them today, which is quite unfortunate. I had plenty of opportunities to walk away green on both tickers today. So, uh, again, because I broke some of my rules, I think that's exactly why I'm ending the day red, despite the market conditions of it being a lot slower, X, Y, and Z. Now, my individual performance today, if I had to give it an honest rating, I think I'd probably give it a lower than C minus performance on the day. I'm not too happy with my performance on the day. Now, one other thing that I was kind of keeping an eye on is I do wish I had the confidence in the future to take advantage of some of these trades that I end up calling out early in the morning. I've seen multiple kind of tickers set up in the way that the trade of the day set up. And this ticker we actually did not end up playing today or even really mentioning in the Discord. I mentioned it on Zoom, and that was about it. This ticker is BTC2. And I'll give you plenty of different reasons on why, if I traded this one, I would have been a lot happier with myself. This wasn't necessarily a day trade setup, but it was definitely something to study and look at because it made some amazing moves. Now, let's get right into some of the first trades of the morning. And this is the stock that I'm most upset about. And that stock is PRZO. This one was setting up kind of earlier in the morning, started popping from news, and we caught this very first initial, like that second impulse higher. And this netted me a nice profit of about $200 on the day. I was very happy with that, especially because I was playing with smaller size, but it was such a bigger move that I'm ending up walking away roughly $200 in the green, first trade of the day. Now, unfortunately, what happens is I give all of that away the second time I play PRZ. Now, this is where I kind of need to do a refresh on some of my rules because I broke two of my rules here. And let's get into some of those rules. So one of them is rushing or dragging. Now, if you have not seen the movie Whiplash, I highly recommend it. It's a great movie. But that rushing and dragging, what that kind of means to me is, was I too fast or too late? It's in reference to drumming. That's what Whiplash is about. It's also a great song. But rushing or dragging, when talking about trading specifically, I was certainly rushing some of these entries up here. Without a doubt, I was actually. Now, if we zoom in a little bit more and kind of focus in on what exactly I was trying to do, is I was drawing a downtrend on every single pullback, which is a little bit too aggressive in my opinion. So if you remember 1 or 2 days ago when I was talking about you can have a more aggressive and then a more conservative downtrend. I was always playing things from the more aggressive downtrend in a slower market, which meant that, of course, I was going to get punished. Of course. These two entries right here is what steamrolled everything else into a horrible, horrible trade on PRZO. Those two entries. Now, as you notice, I also get back in here and here. Now, again, these entries are somewhere within this area, in the bodies of the candle. They're not actually at the buy area where that B is. That just means I got in on one of those 1 minute candles. Very aggressive. Because every single time price started to kind of test one of these downtrends, I was rushing my entry and I was like, oh, we're going to get that 254 break right now. It's going to happen right now. Oh, all right, pulls back, readjust my downtrend. Oh, it's testing the downtrend again. It's going to break out right here, right now. Nope, doesn't. Pulls back again. Okay, so here you can kind of see my hesitation in the moment of kind of getting chopped around. Now, the second rule that if I am playing that aggressive, that's where I really need to follow the next rule. So this is rule one, first rule that I broke, and then here's a second rule that I broke. This second rule is don't trade in the middle of the road. That's what I call it. Let's write it down. Don't trade road. Now, the reason I like this rule so much is normally it prevents me from trading from the top of the range and then cutting my losses at the bottom of the range. If I do that, that normally like 9, 10 out of 10 times meant that I held through multiple different levels of support that I could have limited my losses at. If I'm taking a trade, let's get a good example here. If I'm taking a trade and all of my entries are, let's get the laser pointer. If all of my entries are up here at the top and I'm cutting my losses at the bottom, that's the almost max potential that I can lose on this setup. If I want to keep it a little bit tighter, I need to be kind of cutting my losses at any of these levels of support right here instead of holding through the top of the range to the bottom. This is just something that I kind of tell myself to really try and nail some of these entries and exits. Now, again, the fact that I was playing so aggressive with these downtrends, like I got faked out here, faked out here, faked out here, so many times, and then I also got faked out here, and then I tried to re-enter because I didn't have this average anymore. I mean, just so much kind of hesitation and lack of confidence in my trading on this individual setup. So the notes that I have here and what I'm kind of my key takeaway here, this is just me studying it. I don't know if this is the exact better way to trade it. Of course, this is one of the reasons that we look for those key breaks through that 254 because that's what we were looking for. We were looking for a breakout of 254 in this area. We never got that, and we only were up here testing the range. Every single time we were only testing this resistance up here. But every time that we were testing it, I was like, oh, this is the one. This is the one that it's going to go. So again, breaking my rule of rushing and dragging. The reason that we kind of pay attention to the key breaks is to limit the losses that you incur doing stupid stuff like I did right here. Now, the fact that I still broke my rules and I'm only ending the day, minus $160, honestly, today could have been a much worse day. Could have been a much worse day. And the fact that the market was so slow and so passive today, when the market starts to slow down like this, we see money start to flow into some of those longer term previous runners. Now, let's go back to PRZO. One thing when the market is slow like this and I'm kind of getting chopped around so much is I want to start paying more attention and looking for trades off of support. This was probably my best entry on the day, quite honestly. This entry right here was smaller size as price is finding support, basically holding above the 25 on the one and getting that next extension leg up to test the next resistance. I think this was a great entry. Now, if we zoom out for a second and we look at this 254 break, this 254 break, in order for price to build and start stair stepping up to that 254, what level needs to hold here? So me, again, this is just hindsight is 2020 here, but what I'm noticing is we get the nice break and hold of VWAP here. So the black line on my chart is VWAP. In this case, price holds VWAP the entire time while it's setting up for that breakthrough 254. So if I kind of changed my mindset of instead of trying to here, let's draw this a little bit out. This is just for me here. So if we have a resistance here and the support level, would it not make more sense to get some trades in right here for the breakthrough the support? Now it's always not a guarantee that trading off of the support is going to provide that move up. But if I'm looking for trades through this resistance, I need to really be patient and wait for the break and hold. Wait, I have a chart for this. Let's see. We're gonna pause the recording real quick. Ideally, we should be back. Let's hope the file didn't get corrupted or something crazy like that. But sorry for the quick little intermission right there. Now, I just took that time to go ahead and find this nice little screenshot out of my notes. Now, this is what I should have been looking for today. And I'm kind of upset at myself that I wasn't patient enough to wait for something like this to set up. Because this is how I should be timing an entry within this area, or at least in my opinion. There's probably better ways to kind of find those entries. But if I'm looking for a break and hold of VWAP within this area, maybe it's worth it for me to start studying kind of trades off of support and maybe buying at the bid or something like that down in this area. Now, again, it's very difficult because you're likely to catch a falling knife there, but something to kind of study, especially when there's so much wicky movement up here. When candles are wicky, trading gets icky. Now, this is some very icky action, especially on a slower day. Now, if I was able to play patient enough and instead of looking for those scalping moves every single time it moves up and gets a nice little wick above the downtrend, if I'm playing the breakout, ideally I want to be seeing something like this. I don't want to be buying in shares up here on every single move that it makes up to a downtrend just to sell all the way down here. That's exactly what I did right here on PRZO. Then, at the same time, if I am actually taking shares from a downtrend break, wait for it to break, and then buy on the test of the support of the downtrend, which is right here. So price gets above, holds above, that's the key there, and then makes that extension higher. Right here, I'm getting in on every single false little thing. I mean, it's quite insane, quite insane. Now, at the same time, if I am getting in at these downturn breaks, at least cut at this fail of the downtrend. Downtrend fails, and quite honestly, shouldn't have even got in on those moves right there. Let's be honest. Now, at the same time, Fail of the downtrend, price comes back up, test the downtrend, and then boom, quicker move down. So as I'm holding my position through this, I know that if price starts to make a quicker move, it'll go fast. So as I see it's breaking, getting back, retesting the downtrend, and now it's acting as resistance, pushing that price lower. I don't want to get caught in this massive red candle, so I'm closing before VWAP fails. So thankfully, I kept it somewhat tight, but again, very disappointing on my execution on this trade. Again, this is why we keep focused for those breaks to 254. And unfortunately, I was not patient enough to do that, you know? Now, um, so yeah, broke two rules just on this trade. I do actually end up trading VS into market open. This was a really nice downtrend that ended up showing up on that 5-minute chart. So you can kind of see it gets that nice little move above, but this is just a wick on that 5-minute chart. The candle still closed down here, so we have a downtrend on top of the candles. So what I'm looking for is I'm sitting down, trading this one, looking for a break through this area, this pre-market kind of resistance right here. You can go and mark that area just like that. And then as that green candle is again, so we get the break and hold of support. This is the hold down here. Then we get that move higher. So I'm getting in right here as I can kind of see it's bouncing off of that support. Maybe it was a little bit of a late entry, but I was going with smaller size, so it should be fine. And then I'm scaling out. I sold 50% of my position up here. And then I get caught in a lot of red candles right after that. I guess I didn't take enough profit off the table. At this point, this actually, when I was up unrealized in this position, I was actually back green on the day by about $100. So this is what I mean. My P&L was going in a roller coaster. It felt like this morning, where I was down 100, down 200, up 100, up 200, down back 100. Quite infuriating. Infuriating. I mean, if we had some stronger action, I feel like I would have been able to take advantage of it a lot better. But today was a very difficult to trade. So even more important that we sit down and actually study it. Now, I sold 50% up here. Oh my God, that's 50% of my position up here on that first initial move. And then I am closing my position down here. But I get caught in this nice wick all the way below. I was scared of it halting down, immediately mark it out basically, and boom, minus $50. Very upsetting because what we look for is again the break and hold, and then we get that move higher. Price ended up failing through that support of the downtrend very quick. Price moves back up. Let's clean up the board here just a little bit. So, fail of the downtrend, price moves down. Price then comes back up, retests the downtrend area, and then makes that larger move downwards. That's exactly what happens on VS here. Now, let's kind of get into some of the more exciting stuff because I think there were plenty of opportunities to walk away green on this one. Actually, really quick, this reminds me, I forgot I had this screenshot in here, but I noticed that there were a few members in the Discord channel that were calling out PRZO for some later in the day action. And I'm just going to quickly review it because I didn't really like the look to play it in the afternoon. I was actually tempted on doing it, but it never ended up resolving, and I'll kind of point out a few key details. Now, first of all, this large initial red move is will kind of pushes a lot of bulls away from it. Now, after seeing this, the likelihood that it was going to try and continue setting up later in the day, especially after failing this 10 EMA on the 30 right here on this huge red 30-minute candle, the likelihood that it's going to be able to consolidate back up and then for the move higher is very unlikely. Very unlikely, in my opinion. Now, there was a chance to do it, especially after we saw it holding as support on top of this 10 EMA on the 30-minute chart. So seeing this right here is what might have been able to give me confidence in order to play that maybe next move up. And the reason I drew that line exactly like that is because if we got a move too early through this VWAP level, because we know VWAP is going to act as support right here. If we got the move too early, we're breaking the downtrend a little bit too early as well. Now, if we got the move after this line right here, then that means we might be able to get a break and hold of the downtrend under this 225 resistance and that VWAP level. So then there's a chance we get that larger move later then. Now, does that mean you want to play this like 219.50 or 225 break down here? Not necessarily, because we know we still have a lot of resistance to conquer from there. Now, one other thing, we've played PRZO many, many times in the past, so I want to give you a better example of what it might have, what the potential setup into that later day movement might have looked like. And that would be this prediction that I made on PRZO many, many months ago. This was back in, let's see, November 29th, it looks like. So on this one, as we can kind of see, we got a very, very nice initial pop, but price hasn't held the downtrend yet. Now, you can kind of consider it holding right here and still getting that move up. That's absolutely right, but hasn't tested the support of the downtrend down here. I would consider this to be the support of the downtrend. We look for price to break above and hold above. This is still at holding above. But we also look for sometimes price to break and test the support of the downtrend. The support of the downtrend would definitely be somewhat down here. So one other thing to kind of look at is the reason I drew this line exactly like this is because I knew that price is going to need to clear out these lows down here and then come back up, form a new downtrend line, and then later on find support again after it found this recent resistance, and then come back up, conquer the downtrend, test the downtrend, and then for that move higher. So this was the prediction that I made on 11/29 at 10 something in the morning. Let's scroll down a little bit. This is the exact move that basically happened. Now, the reason I was kind of able to pick that out is because one of the things that I would also look for is on PRZO. This is a 30-minute chart. On this 30-minute chart, let's go and highlight the 10 EMA on the 30. Notice how price is holding above? And it basically holds above the entire time on every single extension. So every single one of these larger extensions happen when price is holding above the 10 EMA on the 30. So it's extending up and away from our 10 EMA on the 30. So this is something that I probably would have looked at if I decided to play PRZO later on in the day. PRZO today didn't really set up in a favorable setup. I don't know why I remembered looking at the 10 on the 30 last time I made this prediction, but this is kind of what it means it pays to study, team. Now, PRZO, let's kind of go through this. So let's go through the prediction here because it's a good thing for me to even review. Let's do it. So price comes up, finds a 1.7 resistance, and then I'm looking for price to come back down to the 108, 114 area because that's what that pre-market kind of resistance area was. I was thinking if we can test this liquidity, then we get that move back higher. I knew that 1.5 was a pretty big resistance, especially because of pre-market and by playing it multiple times. But most importantly, because of this area right here. So I was thinking if we can test that recent, what would you call that? A lower high? If we can test that recent lower high over in this area, Then I'm thinking we'll find resistance in that area, and then that's what's going to form our really nice downtrend. So then we would then throw in our downtrend. And as price is hopefully able to find support somewhere within this area, because we want to start making those series of higher lows. This is a low. Oh my goodness. This is a low. This is a low, and we want to start making some higher lows. So we end up so ideally we would find support somewhere within this 129 range, and then we would get the move up, breaking that downtrend, holding the downtrend, and then that larger move. Now let's go through this. This is a 15-minute chart. Actually, let's do it on the 5-minute chart. Well, would you look at this? So what I wanted to see happen is price make this large move first, come back down, find support down here, finally come back up, kind of testing within this area right here. Test that area, finds resistance. Then we can kind of, okay, I don't know why the downtrend's drawn like that, but it should really be something like that. And then after you have this downtrend placed, that's when you get the break and hold above into that larger move. So definitely something to study. Let's get back to, oh, we're on the wrong notebook now. There we go. So something to study. I know a lot of members were kind of interested in playing PRZO for another opportunity later on in the day. I don't think that this was a favorable setup, even if it was able to kind of get back up in this area, because the 10 EMA on the 30 was already showing such big weakness. Now, I think the best opportunity today was actually not on any of the tickers that we ended up looking at or even trading. I think the ticker that we should have kept more focus on was BTCT and BTCS. The reason I say that is because on the right chart here, this is the Bitcoin chart. These two companies on the left are trade in sympathy in relation to Bitcoin. They are Bitcoin digital like mining companies or something of the sort. I don't know all the details, but I do remember back when Bitcoin was first making that pump all the way up to $100,000 when it was breaking that psychological level. These two tickers made almost 1,000% moves in just a few days. Quite phenomenal trading. Now, this Bitcoin chart right here, if we notice the technical analysis on it, of course, we're coming up. This is when we're first breaking that 100,000 area right here. We finally get that nice pump above. Then price shortly fails below right after that. Then if we notice, comes right back up, finds support, finds that downtrend. That's when we draw our downtrend, comes back down. And now the next time, what bulls are thinking, if price can get above $100,000, then we should start to see that move up to at least this resistance. Now, this might be the move that we actually end up seeing. Now, I took this screenshot just a little bit ago. But this overall look, when Bitcoin starts to do good, what do you think is going to start to do good in sympathy to Bitcoin? Notice these charts right here. On this longer term, BTCS, quite a phenomenal move on a 4-hour chart. This is what I ended up calling to Sensei. He didn't seem too excited about it because we still had focus on PRZO at the time. But here we see a break of the downtrend, find support of the downtrend and these recent lows, and then starts to stair step up. So I was actually looking at it and I was 1 gram of caffeine away from hitting buy on this stock, I guarantee you. But I was looking for entries around 3, and I was going to try and intend to hold them into this resistance right here, up at that 364, 370 area. Now, same thing, BTCT ended up getting larger attention today. Now, BTCT, I'm going to try and pull it up really quick because I forgot to take a screenshot of it. But we have a longer term downtrend. What is this? Should I go? Yes. So longer term downtrend on this 4-hour chart. I'm going to quickly try and screenshot and throw it in my notes. There we go. Hey, well, don't do that now. So BTCT, this one, again, we can draw on a downtrend from this. Then we get the break, then quickly that move higher. It's kind of crazy how all of this stuff lines up. This wasn't my most favorable one to kind of keep an eye on, so I had closer attention to BTCS is because of this. This is some very aggressive selling off on BTCT. Whereas the 4-hour chart on BTCS looks a lot healthier, in my opinion, for a continued move, hopefully through something like that. But again, all things great to just look at and study. There was definitely some opportunity in Bitcoin sympathy plays today as we saw such a strong reaction back above $100,000 on Bitcoin. When we're trading, we look for psychological levels. One, in my opinion, the biggest psychological level for Bitcoin is $100,000. It's a lot of zeros. People are going to look at it. It's as simple as it gets. So if that's a psychological level and price is finally breaking out of it again, in a more favorable area than doing it this early on, I think it's going to get a stronger reaction back above, and that's exactly what kind of drove these larger moves on BTCT and BTCS. I think BTCT made like almost 100% move off of these lows, and then so did BTCS. I think it was up 80% last time I looked at it. So definitely a lot of opportunity within the market today. And unfortunately, I just did not have the confidence to kind of trade BTCS and BTCT. Definitely plan on doing some more studying and kind of looking for those entries on them. Now, unfortunately, still finishing the day red $168.95. Now, the good news is it's just one day out of a possible 250 days in the market. So take a step back. Let's zoom out a little bit and we will try and attack Tuesday to the best of our abilities, not meaning that we're going to be aggressive. We do have a 3-day weekend because this Monday, January 20th, is going to be Martin Luther King Day, and Trump might be getting in office and X, Y, and Z. So who knows what the market is going to provide for us on Tuesday? But I'm planning on being cautious and waiting for the trades to come to me. I I think that I was being patient this morning, but not patient enough because I was still forcing trades. And that's what this is right here. Not waiting for the key breaks, not waiting for the break and hold. We never got the hold of a single downtrend up in this area around that 254. So why am I even trading it? If I'm looking for an entry up here, maybe look for a starter off of support. The key area that needs to hold is VWAP in this situation, not anything else. Now, VWAP does actually end up failing, then you get that choppier action into market open. Now, another thing, I remember making a video, and I probably did like a 2-3 minute rant about how my sweet spot in trading is not into market open. That like 8:45 until 9:30 area. I mean, I've lost a lot of money between that area from getting some early morning green and giving it all away. That's exactly what happened today. I'm over trading in that 8:45 to 9 window and giving away a lot of green, too much green on the day, matter of fact. And so something I want to keep looking at, and I really need to start asking myself, is it worth it for me to trade in those unfavorable trading conditions that I have set for myself between 8:45 and 9:30? I'm just not as profitable within those areas. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not opportunity, but that opportunity often show more scalping setups as things are setting up into market open. I want to be trading, not scalping. I mean, that I might as well put that on a t-shirt. But thank you guys for kind of joining me on this venting session. I guess that's what it was. This was a therapy session for me having such a red day. Unfortunately, still finishing the day red. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you guys know the drill. Have a good day, guys. And I will actually be in the Traders Lounge most of the week tomorrow, next week. So I will be in the Traders Lounge Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll try and pop in, but Thursday and Friday, I should be able to spend some time in the Traders Lounge. If anything changes, I will look to update you guys probably in the member chat. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out and have a happy weekend. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.